The campaign trail is rather fun to run. You do only get 250 points from running it, along with a presidential candidate favor token. It also has quite a few locations in low security, along with shortcuts through null security, which is most definitely camped most of the time. There are also a lot of smart bombing praxis you will need to avoid along the way, including some random gate camps and just people looking to hunt anyone running the campaign trail. The hardest part is quite early on, with the last parts being in rather quiet parts of low security. Many end up running this in just a shuttle. I'll be using a covert ops frigate, the Anathema, as I feel it gives me a lot more options. The campaign trail starts in Luminere. You warp to the campaign trail start beacon. Warping to beacons is the name of the game for this one. You end up seeing some rather cool lore locations, both from the game lore and stuff that was inspired by players of EVE Online as well. Before heading off, make sure to dock up at Luminere 3, Moon 1, the laboratories factory. There is a clone facility inside that you can use to store your implants if you have any. After starting the campaign trail, you end up heading into low security right away. You are off to Old Man Star. When I went to this location, it ended up being rather quiet, just filled with others running this. As always, situations can change, so always be on the lookout. During this entire thing, I was always looking ahead on kill boards and system data to see how active things were. Before heading into low security, make sure not to be carrying anything like drone iteration data you might have acquired along the way. The system, right before Old Man Star, has an NPC buyer for it. The moment you land in Old Man Star, you get credit and should get off the gate. You next need to go to Postuvin. It sits on an island of systems, which means it's surrounded by low security. There are 2 direct paths to it, and they are heavily camped. One is 36 jumps, but it cuts through null security. There is also a much longer route that takes you through a lot of low security.
Warp drive active.
Before taking a peek into the null security system, I could already tell they had from the kill mails gate camps on both gates. There were quite a few smart bomb kills in different locations. They were also set up to catch small and quick ships. When I went, my brain was filled with more rum than a pirate ship. They were also quite quick on decloaking, pointing, and webbing. As someone who was a pirate for a short time, I was kind of hoping that at the hour I was running this, everyone would be rather tired and not paying much attention. I guess being fed lots of shuttle kills keeps you awake, as there were pages of kills. A lot of the time, gates were also way out of D-scan range. It's smart regardless of whether the path and the gate look clear, that you want to ping off a random objective in the system. This method would end up allowing me to bypass most of the smart bombing praxis. Some systems, however, had multiple players set up at different warp-in locations to the gate, which makes perfect sense. If someone did not warp directly to the gate the first time, chances are they are not going to do it again further down the line of systems to get to the next objective for the campaign trail.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active. active.
Even when things go dreadfully wrong after getting decloaked quickly by the daredevil, it was not that hard to make it back to the gate. After making it back into high security safely, there were another 38 jumps to go to make it to the system on the island.
For news you can trust, tune into the cluster's #1.
Warp drive active.
This route was filled with smart bombing Praxis and even other ships. Along the way, I ended up scanning for data sites. Sometimes I'd even drop probes and watch the gankers dock up to switch to ships they use to hunt explorers. I'd then jump through the gate while a bunch of other players in shuttles got on by. The method of just pinging off a random location before heading to the next gate was used most of the way through low security.
Warp drive active.
Always so nice when they are already blinking in local. That trouble is lurking in the system. In this instance, I did a double ping. I wanted to get D-scan range of the gate, but I did not like how I needed to do it. So I warped to a random spot first.
Warp drive active.
Sure enough, there is a Praxis sitting just 136 kilometers from me. Talk about being sneaky. Once I made it to the first cluster of islands, I did a little scanning. I was mostly looking for wormholes, but a data site would have been nice. I came up empty.
Warp drive active.
A little more random gate action. I found the ship name rather funny on D-scan. Now that I've made it to the island where the next location is, I, for one, don't want to go back through that mess again. While most people who just came in shuttles just dump them and pod themselves, I'm on a hunt for a wormhole to get me out of here.
Warp drive active.
Some rather cool spots to see along this trail. It was fun to stop and look in areas that were not filled with trouble. There was also quite a lot of lore to be read about each location. Next stop was in Jerarik, also on this island.
Warp drive active.
You can see all the ships being left behind, as the next location was going to be in Malia, 71 jumps. Thankfully, there was a wormhole not that far away. That led this class to one wormhole that had a high security static. This alone would have cut the trip down to just 43 jumps to the next location. I ended up taking a low security shortcut, saving even more time.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
A moment of silence for fallen Eve online capsulars at this memorial location. Next stop was in Corazor Prime. I'm kind of shocked at how much of Amarr space we end up going through for the Gallente event. It was time to hail the Emperor Dorium II Memorial before moving on. Naturally, we would be heading to Amarr next to pay our respects to Kriba. It's a nice little detail that they still show him mining Veldspar. It was kind of nice that a few of these locations were rather close to each other. It also makes you wonder what kind of events are going on in today's EVE Online will end up getting its own memorial. While some of these locations I've never been to before, quite a few of them I had been. There were others further on that I've been meaning to return to for quite some time. Now it's time to head off to low security again. I'd end up seeing a lot of the same people, as we were all just going to the next location. It was also kind of nice that there was no Praxis at every turn. I still ended up pinging off a random spot before hitting the gate just in case. This also included before going into any of the beacons, as you just never know. Back to high security again for a quick little stop in Tuba.
Drive active.
While a lot of the locations they have you go to were rather cool, hitting up a couple of these trail campaign locations was a bit lame. This already felt long enough for the number of points it gives out. Now it was time to head into low security again, and there were quite a few locations down there to hit up. Thankfully, this part of space is kind of known for being silent. At this point, it was also like 4 a.m. my time, and the server population was getting low. So, I was not expecting any trouble, but you never know. I for sure thought I was going to have issues in this system after seeing how many were in here. You don't see that every day in low security.
Warp drive active.
Quite a few of these I was looking to warp out the moment I landed.
Warp drive active.
If you have never been to the system of New Eden and checked out the Eve Gate, you sure have missed out on a lot of early game lore. I had been meaning to return here one day. I recall quite early into playing Eve Online I made the trip down here. After seeing way to many Eve Online promotion videos, it was nice having this system all to myself to enjoy this site.
Warp drive active.
As if there was not enough traveling through low security, there was still another spot. Thankfully, it was time to head back up to high security as the end is near. All that was left now was to hit the campaign trail finishing line and collect a presidential candidate favor token, along with the last chunk of points.